everyone, it's Cryptid. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I just have a single sim home for you guys, so it's kind of small. This actually isn't the build that I was going to upload this week. I had filmed a retail pumpkin patch and I went to put it into my editing software and I didn't hit record. So I did have this one already filmed and edited, so I just figured I'd film the voiceover for this. Do have like a bit of a story for the sim who lives here. I haven't played with her very much yet. If you watched my abandoned Victorian build and you remember that the son of the family who lives there is an agent for an actress, the actress sim is actually the sim that lives here. So as we get into this build, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the sim who lives here. Her name is Holly. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then let's grab a hot drink, a blanket, and let's jump right in. So Holly Andrews is currently halfway through the young adult lifespan. She's an actress sim living out of Willow Creek, and I believe she's a level 4, which would make her a supporting actress. Her fame is kind of localized to Willow Creek due to the fact that she is from there. She's also pretty new and naive to the industry, which is actually how she ended up with Douglas as her management and agent. She spent the first half of her young adult life in Newcrest married to her ex-husband Lawrence, and together they have a teenage son. Ever since the divorce and moving back from Willow Creek, she has not seen her son very often, so he does actually live with his dad. Holly has always wanted to be an actress. She never expected to gain fame as quick as she got it. Although currently her fame is localized to Willow Creek, it is expected that due to her talent and potential, she will go very far. Eventually, I would like to see her move to 𝍊𝋼𝍊, but the story just isn't there yet. The story that I have in mind is that Douglas and Holly are actually in a relationship as well as being professional partners, and they do try to keep this away from the public eye as much as possible due to the fact that Douglas is not a very liked sim. He has a negative reputation. He is very selfish and arrogant, and even though he is her management, he is her agent. He actually holds her back in a lot of ways. The routine of her life right now is very much work, sleep, work, sleep. She doesn't often get a chance to see her friends or see her family, and that's just because Douglas keeps her very busy with her work life. She attends a lot of business parties, a lot of premieres, a lot of award shows. She does this to network and possibly get larger roles, but it does unfortunately lead to not a very good work-life balance. She feels very overwhelmed and very exhausted. That's actually as far as I've played with her in the story. I do have a lot of plans for her. I do eventually see her and Douglas breaking up and her seeing her son again. I do eventually see her being single and focusing on herself, being really able to find that work-life balance. And I do see her moving out to 𝍊𝋼𝍊 as she gains more fame. I'm undecided if I will ever actually move her into that Victorian house. And for anyone who didn't watch that abandoned Victorian, the story there is that he inherited his parents' home after their passing. The home was very aged, very dated, very lived in, and he began the process of renovating it. He's finished the outside of the build, which looks a lot more modern than the inside. If you look at the inside of that build, it's very old. His parents left him that home in their will as a family home for him and his ex-wife, who now lives in Oasis Springs with their son. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to renovate it and rent it out to somebody. He was going to rent it out to Holly. So yeah, I don't know if she'll ever actually move into that house or if by the time that he finishes the renovation that they'll have already broken it off. I'm just pausing the voiceover just to say that I found this glitch when I was doing the foundation. It was very amusing to me when I found it. It had me distracted for a couple minutes, but I was going to cut it out, but I guess I forgot. So here you guys go. It was only like one foundation that did that. It was so weird. This home actually broke my heart. I spent so long on it. I put a lot of thought into the objects and the clutter that I placed around the home. I really wanted it to feel like she lived here, that the home was hers, and I wanted the objects to be stuff that I thought that she would enjoy and she would use. I made it very personal to her with the colors and stuff. I got so close to the end of this build and then my game crashed just before I was about to save, and luckily, which never happens for me, it didn't crash until I had already stopped recording, so I was able to rebuild it and do the best I can to replace the clutter that I had put down, but it's not entirely the same on the gallery. It's basically as close as I could get it, but regardless, it is a cute little build, so I am very proud of it. I don't remember if I had used a reference The interior decorations, I really just went with what I thought that she would like. I struggle a lot when it comes to adding personality to my builds of the different Sims. I tend to always sort of place objects that I like, and I tend to never use the objects in game that I just don't like the look of. I realize that's not very realistic. Everyone has very different aesthetics, so like some people might like maximalism, some people might like minimalism, black and white, a lot of color. There's just so many different options. I always forget that when I make these builds. I did a lot of legacy gameplay or just generational family gameplay. I didn't do a whole lot of building. I used to just download stuff from the gallery, and I love watching other speed builds or long format builds because they all use objects that I just don't think about. I'm always finding new objects or assets that have swatches I didn't even know existed. I've played The Sims for a long time. The Sims 4 I specifically played since launch in 2014. I also have most of the packs, apart from a few kits. And I guess once you think about it, like that's a lot of objects, so it's only natural that you would miss some stuff. And even though I have most of the packs, I tend to stick with the same couple of packs for my gameplay and my builds. So I'm really trying to break myself out of that, and watching other people's creativity in their builds really helps me with it. That all being said though, I really do think that I've gained more confidence in my builds, and I really do like the way that they turn out in most cases. I guess my whole point is that the builds are helping me explore the games in ways that I haven't before or haven't in a very long time. For me, I find when I stick to the same type of gameplay all the time, I tend to get burned out faster. I think every Sims player understands the cycle that you get yourself into when you play the game the same way for a long time, which the cycle is, you know, you play it for hours and hours every day and then you don't touch it for 6 months. And I've definitely fallen into that cycle more times than I can count over the last 10 years. And that's unfortunate because I really do love this game. And like I said before, I love watching other people's creativity because it helps me with my own. It helps me find ways to play the game that I just haven't thought of.